Good morning, friends, and welcome to Wake Up in the Word. Hey, thanks for joining me this morning. It is a Monday in which I'm recording this. I don't know what day you're watching this or what time of the year or even what year you're watching. But we're recording in early July of 2023. It's July the 10th. I've got the courageous coffee cup, and we're going to talk about being courageous a little bit today from the passage we're in Luke chapter 22. So turn over there, join us right quick, and let me tell you one of the many reasons why today is so special. We had a great time yesterday worshiping with the folks at the Green Creek First Baptist Church, a fantastic country congregation that's one of our strongest. And the message by Dr. Jerry White, who's not just one of our local, in this case, interim pastors in the area, but he's also a neighbor. He lives down here in Chesney near us. And what a great time we had with the folks at Green Creek First yesterday. But today is one of those days on the calendar that I'll always remember because it's my father's birthday. Now, I hope you have a dad that you can remember fondly and have some good memories. No, our dads were not perfect, but I hope you remember one who loved you unconditionally, who pointed you in the right direction, who took you to church, who pointed you to Jesus. All the things that my dad did do. And as we think back over those who have led us and look at today's generation, we find the vacuum of male leadership is just tremendous. Everything about masculinity and the leadership of men in our society is being put down to the degree that's hard to find good, godly, solid men. So men, rise up. It's time for you to be the leaders you're supposed to be. Jesus is going to give some counsel to his male disciples. Every one of them were men, by the way. And as we look at that group, obviously he had disciples that were both men and women. But this little group that he's talking to right now is made up primarily of guys. And he's telling them to take leadership and be the disciples, the male leaders that he wants them to be for the coming generation in the church that's about to explode onto the scene. They have no idea what's about to happen because he's on his way to the garden where he's going to be spending a lot of time in prayer. And after that time of prayer, he's going to be arrested and taken off to eventually be crucified. Despite all the things Jesus has said to warn them about this time that's coming, they still don't grasp it. They still don't get it. But in the words that he shares this morning, he's going to give some advice that you might not have realized Jesus gave. I'm going to pick up all the way down here in verse 35, where Jesus said to them, "When I sent you without money, a money bag, traveling bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?" "Not a thing," they said. Then he said to them, "But now whoever has a money bag should take it, and also a traveling bag, and whoever doesn't have a sword should sell his robe and buy one. For I tell you, what is written must be fulfilled in me." And this next sentence he quotes from Isaiah 53 when he says, "And he was counted among the lawless." In other words, he's taking that prophecy from Isaiah 53 and saying it applies to him. For some who in some kind of crazy disinformation campaign would say Jesus never claimed to be Messiah, never referred to himself as Messiah. We've read over and over where he did make that claim. And in this case, he's actually pointing toward an Old Testament prophecy saying, that's talking about me. He was counted among the lawless. We know he'll be crucified in between two thieves shortly. And it says, yes, what is written about me is coming to its fulfillment. Well, Lord, they said, look, here are two swords. That is enough, he told them. Now, something happens in this passage that people don't want to acknowledge about Jesus. First of all, he told his disciples to get ready to have to defend yourselves. He's saying that, the time is coming when if you don't have a sword, you better go sell something, sell an extra piece of clothing, whatever, and get yourself a sword. In other words, be ready to defend yourself. Yes, self-defense is a godly right. It doesn't mean you're supposed to be arrogant and obnoxious about it. It doesn't mean you're supposed to use it to rule over people, but it's always been a right of the populace from the very early days of creation. It's something that a good constitutional republic should stand up for. So Jesus said, go get you a sword. Isn't it amazing that today I know many, many pastors who have concealed carry permits, who have not only personal weapons that they use, as I do, as many other pastors do. I know of some who have some at church, have them in just the right places, have to know that they've got people within the congregation that are armed and trained, usually folks that are somehow involved in law enforcement, and ready to respond should an attack come. Because yes, there are active shooter situations that have happened in churches, numerous ones over the past few years, and there's no guarantee that any congregation is safe when a crazy person decides to start shooting. And as we see these things happen, the question shouldn't even be on the table, do you have a right to defend yourself when someone pulls a gun? Jesus, I think, is saying here, yes, you do. You have the right to self-defense. If you don't have a sword in his day, then you better get one. But am I leading an armed insurrection? Are we going? No, that's not what it's all about. When the disciples acknowledged that among them at the time, they only have 2 swords, then he said, well, that's enough. In fact, we'll discover here shortly in a passage we'll probably get to this week that poor Peter doesn't know a whole lot about how to use one properly. But as we look at these passages, there's something that you've just got to acknowledge here. The disciples were already, some of them, carrying swords. Jesus did not rebuke them for that. He didn't say, you shouldn't carry a weapon around me. But instead, he even encouraged his disciples to have something for personal protection on themselves. Now, isn't that amazing? You would think by listening to some people in these days that Jesus said, oh, listen, put away all weapons. If someone attacks you, just let them kill you. It's fine. Just, just suffer, be a martyr, just suffer for my name. No, Jesus really didn't say that. He said they're going to come after you. They're going to kill you. But he never said that it's not right to defend yourself and your family. And in these days, when folks come after you and your family, you'd better be ready to defend yourself. Now, the funny thing is, they don't always come with a weapon pointed at your face. Sometimes they're coming after your family at the school and you don't even know it as they try to turn your children away from the faith. Sometimes they're coming at you from all kinds of positions of power in government, trying to destroy your faith. I think that what we're picking up here is a principle that I want you to grasp this morning. It's okay to defend yourself, and that especially is true when it comes to verbally defending yourself in the face of demonic attacks and opposition. It becomes necessary often for you to maybe even go to a school board meeting and defend your children against an attack that's happening against them, even in their own classrooms. Listen, friends, don't apologize as a believer for being courageous, for being one who's willing to protect your family and protect the culture that you live in against its enemies. Jesus would have said, that's a good thing. That's a virtue. Get a sword. Well, bless you, folks. You have a great day. I'll see you again right here tomorrow as we wake up in God's Word.